Hi there, my name's Emily, and today we're coming up to the full moon in September, and I'd like to talk to you about hawthorn. And now hawthorn for me is a really beautiful sensual plant, and she flowers in the Beltane, and in this, around the time of the autumn equinox, she comes into her berry. And I'd like to talk to you about why it's really important to honour the rites of passage of plants and what that has to do with our own inner processes as well. Okay, so that moment when you have a flower that's blossomed, you saw it in bud and it's like, oh, it's coming to blossom. It's that beautiful honouring, and you can smell it and you're like, that is why that's all that information was in its seed, and it's coming to blossom, and it's truly beautiful. And then with the berries of the hawthorn, you have this second blossoming of the berries, and they're glistening on the branches at this time of the year when other leaves are falling back, starting to look a bit more barren. And the hawthorn is really coming into her own. And what message or what wisdom, because it's not always a message, sometimes it's just a wisdom, a knowing, or a reminder perhaps from the hawthorn is coming through at the moment, which seems to be saying to honour yourself. There's a deep love there and a deep care. Now, I'd like you to pick some hawthorn berries and collect them perhaps in a paper bag, because then you can dry them. They can be dried just by hung up in the house for a couple of weeks or over a fire. Don't let them get too dry. And then used in the winter months for tea, a very heart medicine tea. And I'd like you to connect with this hawthorn tea in terms of self-honouring. So putting all that intention, and as you're picking it, connecting with the hawthorn and asking her about what it means to honour yourself. So the way this can show up sometimes is like a little bit of a niggling resentment. It could be, oh, I wasn't noticed, I wasn't seen, they didn't hear me, I wasn't important. And it can come back as these resentments and these niggles, but actually it's because societally, that means that kind of in our everyday life, it's not always normalised to really celebrate the moment of blossoming. Okay, so think back in the moments of your life when there was something really big, like a celebration. You know, like you've grown taller. You fit shoes you've never fitted before. You know, you've entered into puberty and your body's changing, and look, you're becoming something different. And just connect with the type of feelings that may have come up for you, and then maybe contrast them with the feelings that come up when you see a caterpillar emerging as a butterfly, or a bud emerging as a flower. It's very different, isn't it? So that connection of honouring and, wow, look, you've changed, you've become this. You were this and now you're this. So it's like a rite of passage to be acknowledged, okay? So with this tea, I'd like it to be a little reminder. So you may want to put a few berries into other tea mixes, or just hold them on an altar or in your house somewhere, to be this reminder, these glistening second blossoms, okay, because we all have second chances, giving yourself a second chance of the blossomings that maybe weren't acknowledged in your life, and really honouring them. You may want to make a list of them, what you want to honour, or you may want to simply draw an aspect of yourself, or it may just be some photographs. Dig out some old photographs from the past and think, wow, you know, really celebrate the moment. It could be that you worked really hard towards something, but actually you felt like it was you're going to be a bit too big for your boots to express it to people, so you just kept it quiet. Or you didn't fully receive a compliment of somebody, and that's really common as well. And it's something we're conditioned to do. But what I'd like to say, and what I'd like to connect with the Hawthorn wisdom, is like, on a soul level, that doesn't make sense. It's almost like you've come into blossom, but you can't celebrate it. You're holding back. You're pretending you're not blossoming. So it's not fully being in that moment. So on a soul level, there's a disconnect. Okay? And that's where your little niggles come from. That's not about being jealous or resentful. That's the truth of your soul that gets to be honoured in that moment. Okay, I'd love to know your thoughts on this. I've got my Hawthorn berries, and I'm going to collect some more now, and just feeling that deep wisdom from the trees, from the Hawthorn spirit, which is love yourself, honour yourself, and celebrate it. And I truly hope that's received with love and care, and I wish you the best honouring of winters with the Hawthorn berry that you keep in your home. Lots and lots of love.